Hey, my beautiful saucies. It is your girl, Exotical Sauce, back with another video. If you hear a noise in the background, that's just my kids bumping and jumping and doing their usual, you know, routine of terrorizing me. But today I want to talk about why the exotical space is so triggering for so many people. And yeah, I just want to talk about that, why this space is triggering, and just give you a few reasons as to why I believe that it is. So the first thing about the exotical space and why it's so triggering to so many people is the fact that nobody has ever seen so many women of mixed race, so many biracial women, Creole women, light-skinned women, come together in solidarity and in love and sisterhood and actually fight back. For so many years, the BWE spaces have been able to disparage us and talk about us and call us names. We're raw chickens, we age like milk, we are squawking birds, we're ramen noodle headed ass bitches, we are privileged and we're stuck up, we're colorists, we're this and we're that. Basically the mean girls of the black community. And for so many years, MLS women, mixed and light-skinned women, MLS women stayed quiet. We didn't say anything. We call ourselves, I guess, taking the high road and not really saying anything and just letting them say whatever they wanted to blow off their steam or whatever they wanted to do, get it out, vent, whatever. But we didn't say anything in return. And because of that, lack of self-preservation or lack of self-defense, the people who are being an aggressor toward you are going to get the impression that they can do it all the time, and each time they do it, it gets worse and worse and worse. The people that were verbally assaulting this community are women who look like us and just out in society in general. Were doing it because we didn't fight back. We didn't say anything. We didn't have a voice. And if we had a voice, it was just way too easy to drown those voices out with, oh, you're a colorist, or you're this, or you're that. And so the Exotical space came along, Exoticals United being the first to start her channel. She inspired a lot of us to start ours and basically fight back. We have self-preservation, we have self-respect in this space, and we are willing to defend ourselves. We pay back the same energy. We give back the same energy that you give to us. If you don't like us, then you would think it would be just like too easy just to not click on the video, just to block us so you don't see us coming across your homepage or your For You page or whatever. But people don't do that. People make videos about us and talk shit about this community. And a lot of times when they do that, they don't even know or take the time to really listen to the content. They just know that the content creators that make these videos, like EU or myself or Dulce K, Epiphany, we all have lighter skin, and that is enough to make them not want to listen to what we have to say and disparage the community without even listening to the content. They still want to label us as colorists or featurists or texturists or whatever without even listening to what we have to say. And that's fine if you want to do that. But, and one thing about it is that, you just come off triggered when you do that. Because if I like McDonald's, I'm not sitting around talking about Wendy's all the time. Take the time to really listen to the space, especially if you're going to talk about it, because you really just kind of look silly. And there are a lot of content creators that do this, and I'm not going to give them I'm not going to name who they are, but they have an idea that this space is drawing negative attention toward biracial people or light-skinned people. Like we're giving others reasons to give us lots of smoke, but the thing about it is that for the last decade, people were giving us smoke anyway, and we haven't said a fucking thing to them. The BWE spaces started with Chrissy, and it was just on after that, and it was just insult after insult after insult, irresponsible rhetoric after irresponsible rhetoric about light-skinned, biracial, mixed-race women. And the reason why it says irresponsible rhetoric, because I'm not talking about the topic of colorism being irresponsible rhetoric. What I'm talking about is how colorism was discussed. I don't know if we have any like Housewives of Atlanta fans. I don't know if anybody watches that show. I used to watch it a long time ago. I don't anymore. But I don't know if you remember. There was a couple years back where Kenya Moore and this one lady named Sonia, who was this gold medalist from Jamaica, were having an argument, and Sonia's husband interjected with his feelings about what they were arguing about, and he took his wife's side against Kenya's, and so Kenya didn't like it, and she felt the way. So when she did her little interview, spotlighted interview, she talked about how aggressive he was. He came up very, very aggressive. And then like everybody just kind of like that moment when she called him aggressive kind of went viral for a second, because people were checking Kenya like, oh my God, do you know how irresponsible it is to call a black man aggressive? Like, oh my God, Kenya, you're on this big, huge platform and you're putting it out there that this black man is aggressive. And don't you know how dangerous that is for, to label him that because of the police and police brutality and racism. And then they turn right around and label light-skinned and mixed-race biracial women with colorism, and we're colorists. We're all that way. Not just some of us or a couple of us, but all of us are that way. We're the mean girls. We're hurting them some kind of way. We're keeping them from doing this or doing that. And that is what they do on their large platforms when they disparage against this community. That's what I mean when I said it's irresponsible rhetoric. It's very dangerous, because now you have biracial women standing in the beauty supply stores minding their own fucking business, and then you have 3 unambiguous wildebeests walking up to her, calling her out of her name and putting their hands on her, telling her that she's trying to start some shit just by her being there. And this stuff in this beauty supply store is not for you. You don't even need this stuff, bitch. What are you doing here? I mean, you have issues like that because of the irresponsible rhetoric from the BWE spaces. And for years and years and years, they've heard this coming from their, very popular and, they're very popular BWE content creators who have large platforms. So that's why this space is so triggering, is because it actually, EU has a very large platform. Her platform and all of our platforms are growing, but it's growing organically because this space is attracting more and more people and giving more and more people a voice. And what we want to do is tear a leaf out of the Jewish community's book, where if you get caught talking shit about a Jewish person, you get immediately canceled. So that is what the Exotical space should look to do, is to check whoever is talking about us in a bad way, especially when you don't know us, you don't listen to the content, you just know that it's a bunch of light-skinned and biracial mixed-race women making the content, and that is enough for you to disparage the space, when that's not even how you should go about judging another person. Because people who are actually listening to the content is who is attracted to the space. Those are the people who do subscribe and do want to hear more from us, because they're actually listening to the messages that we have. So the Jewish community has set an example for how you should be when you have pride in yourself and when you have self-preservation, because you don't sit back and let people just attack you over and over and over again with verbal attacks, or attack you on social media or through memes or whatever, and just make fun of you and you don't say anything back. Because if you do that, you look weak. And what's next? Violence is next, because we've already seen instances where biracial or mixed race women or light-skinned women have become victims of violence, because this kind of behavior has gone so long without being checked. So that makes this space very triggering to other people, because also by our subscribers growing, it shows that there are people who are in solidarity with the mixed and light skin and biracial sector of YouTube, and that they do enjoy watching us fight back. They enjoy our content, and that we speak on a plethora of different topics, and not just racism all the time, or colorism all the time, or what's wrong, or what we don't have, or what privileges we don't have, and what somebody else is doing. But you have useful information, useful content that is helpful to others. And another aspect of what would be helpful to others is showing an example of somebody who has balls, somebody who has kahunas, somebody who can stand up and fight back and return energy and Well, while you're talking about flaws about me and things that how I look, and you're picking me apart about being, biracial or mixed race or light skin or Creole or whatever, I can pick your ass apart too, bitch. You have flaws too. I can talk about how you look. I can talk about your flaws and your hangups. I can talk about your, the things that you do and what you fall short on and the privileges you don't have. Also, I mean, you can be made the fuck fun of too. And when I say that, I'm talking about the BWE spaces. I'm talking about Blackistan. I'm talking about everybody that came toward this space with some smoke. We can return it. So I'm definitely not an angel. Exotical space is not an angel. None of the Exotical creators are angels, but we have pride in ourselves and we have self-preservation. And we don't sit back and just let people say whatever the fuck they want to say to our faces or here on this YouTube platform. And we're not as easy to get rid of as we used to be. Because back when Chrissy's channel first switched over to the colorism channel, there was a light-skinned content creator who was basically talking about divesting. Her name was Isadora Storm. Chrissy's followers did not like the fact that Isadora Storm was trying to speak up for us and for us light-skinned women. And so they got her channel deleted. But the Exotical space is not that easy to get rid of anymore. People want to hear what we have to say, and it's a refreshing change from what is usually talked about in the black YouTube sector or the black sector of YouTube. It's a refreshing change to hear women talk about decentering men or social climbing or dark femininity or diet and exercise or just self-esteem and being beautiful and embracing the fact that you believe that you're beautiful in all shades, darker skin, light skin, and all the beautiful browns in between. And we uplift ourselves and our images like that, and that's refreshing to a lot of people. So that's why a lot of people subscribe to us. Another thing that makes our space triggering for some people is that the Exotical space is growing despite our haters, despite how many videos were made about us, calling us, colorists, and that we think we're better, we're stuck up, and all we do is just talk about having light skin and straight hair or looser textured hair, and thinking that just because we're light skinned, means that we're automatically cute and all these kinds of things. We're growing despite all of that, despite of all of their efforts to try to dox people, threaten people, making videos about us as to why you shouldn't watch the Exoticals. More and more people are attracted to this space regardless because they're actually listening to the content. And to be honest with you, the colorism conversation has just been worn out. There are no solutions. The Exoticals actually offer solutions or a psychological breakdown of that mindset and why you think that way, why you have an inferiority complex. We offer solutions. We offer alternative behaviors and alternative ways of thinking to get around that. Decentering men. The male gaze is largely responsible for why there's such a divide toward, between women in the first place. So if you decenter them, that's like 90% of the problem. But people have made videos. Like I said, if I don't like McDonald's, if I like McDonald's, I'm not gonna sit up and make videos about how much I hate Wendy's. But another quick comment about the men, they really do keep the divide between women going. They really enjoy watching light-skinned women and dark-skinned women go at it. I don't know if you guys remember, there was actually like an advertisement right here on YouTube about that Zeus put out where they were trying to have like a rap battle, and they labeled it light-skinned rappers versus the dark-skinned rappers. And one of the darker-skinned rappers was Sukiana. And they labeled it as like a skin tone rap battle. So who do you think is better, the lighter skin rappers or the darker skin rappers? And people complained, and I don't think they ever aired it, or if they ever did it, but it's largely men behind that, black men behind that really want to keep this divide going. They enjoy watching women fight and argue about colorism and who's lighter, who's darker, or who's better, or whatever. They enjoy that, and they egg it on. A lot of times you'll see like on TikTok lives or something. I don't have TikTok anymore. I'm going to get my TikTok back, but I really enjoyed that platform. But I just watched a video from the light skin historian, because there's a lot of MLS men too that speak up on this topic, because they have similar experiences that light skinned women have with darker skinned women. They have a similar divide between darker skinned men and lighter skinned men. So if you listen to the male content creators, a lot of times they'll talk about nuances in the division between the men. But a light skinned historian did a video where he showed a TikTok live of a dark skinned woman, and she had a panel of mainly dark skinned people, and there was one light skinned woman that she was trying to speak up and like illustrate her point, and she kept getting muted and called a colorist, and there was a considerable amount of men because on the video he showed the you could see the comments rolling up, and they were calling her light bright and porch lights and you colorist bitch and this and that. And a lot of times a lot of black people have a way, a lot of Blackistan sector of the black community, they have a tendency to wield insults towards people. And then when you say something back, then you're racist, or then you're colorist, or this or that. And no, you're just defending yourself. You're just showing that you're not going to put up with people in your face insulting you, especially if you didn't say anything. And if you said something first, that's different. But if somebody just comes up to you and start calling you all kinds of names, or making lives or memes or videos about how much they hate you because you're light skinned, and that's it, and they just paint every light skinned person with that brush of you're just all colorist, stuck up, this and that, that's irresponsible rhetoric. That's no more irresponsible than somebody labeling an unambiguous dark skinned black man or woman as aggressive or ratchet or whatever. That's extremely damaging to the reputation of black people in general. And black people know that they have a bad reputation anyway, or bad representation anyway, so they're trying to clean up their image, and then you turn around and throw dirt on somebody else's image. Like, that is so hypocritical. And the Exoticals, we call it out. I know I especially like to call out black hypocrisy on this channel, because it's crazy. You can't have it both ways. You can't have someone uplift you while you put someone else down. You just can't have it both ways. And then we don't cape for unambiguous dark-skinned black people. We cape for each other. We cape for ourselves. Because even though, like, I remember when I was a little girl and I saw how light-skinned I was, I asked my father, why am I light-skinned? What has made me lighter than you? Because my dad was darker skinned. And he said, well, that's some white man in your lineage that raped your grandmother. So, a lot of black parents tell their lighter skinned kids that. So they give them pretty much like a element of self-hatred when you're very young, when you're very young. So that's damaging too. Regardless of how that white blood got there, it's still there. And I'm not going to hate part of myself because you said something about the lineage or whatever. That's still a part of my DNA. And that's another reason why the Exotical space is hated, because we have so many women who are black, biracial, mixed, Creole, light-skinned people who have a variety of different mixtures, or variety of different admixtures, and they embrace those admixtures. They embrace those other cultures and other parts of themselves, and want to get to know themselves fully, and not just embrace only the black side. And that has been taboo in the black community for so many years, and a lot of people have difficulty deprogramming from that. There's nothing wrong with embracing other parts of yourself, especially if you know you're MGM or you're Creole or you're mixed or you're biracial. There's nothing wrong with that. At least getting to know that side of where you come from, that family history or that lineage, and knows where, at least you know where it comes from. So you know why, the who's, the what's, the where's, and the why's of why you look like that. Regardless of what happened in history, it's still there. So, and it's not healthy mentally for you to hate yourself. So you have to uplift yourself regardless of what you look like or what your admixture is. But yeah, that's my video for right now. I'm going to come back with more content, but your girl has been going through some stuff, so I am going to be back. Thank you so much for listening. I love you, love you, love you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment on the video. And tell me what you guys think. Why do you think that the exotical space is so triggering? Please let me know in the comments, and I will see you beautiful people next time.